Hey everyone, welcome back to the Abom79 podcast. I'm your host, Adam Booth.
And your co-host, Abby Booth.
We're at a beautiful place today.
This is a beautiful place.
We're in beautiful Defuniak Springs, Florida, enjoying the great outdoors. We have a couple of down days that we're enjoying for Abby's birthday. This is her want for her birthday. She wanted to go camping.
I know he asked me, if you could do anything, what would you do? And I'm like, the Cairo Museum.
Yes.
The Cairo Museum just opened and I really want to go, but that's not totally like just a, all right, let's just go kind of trip. So I'm going to have to stay for that one.
We definitely want to go there though.
Yes.
They just opened that
Yes.
this week. I think, I've been reading a lot of reports on it. They've been building it for almost 20 years now.
I love Egypt documentaries. They're like my favorite thing, and poor Adam has to watch them weekly.
Well, I actually enjoy them myself too, babe. You know, I enjoy that. We watch all of the archaeology shows for Egypt, and it's awesome watching them, pull all the discoveries that they are, out of the ground.
How many items did they say that they had there? Like 100,000 or something
yeah,
like that?
something like 100,000, and they said that they've got every single piece of King Tut's tomb on display now for the first time ever.
I think that I would probably walk in there, break into tears, and just like be numb for the whole rest of the day. So I need at least a week.
Yeah, I think that would be a good week vacation to fly over there to Egypt and be able to enjoy the museum for 2 or 3 days, enjoy some of the places in Egypt there. Cairo.
I did see the crowds. That's not us.
Yeah, it looks pretty busy right now, and it's probably because the museum just opened up. So give it some time.
Yeah.
Maybe settle out, but that's definitely a future trip that we would like to take in the future.
But I'm really glad we're doing a birthday camp. So camping is the next best thing for me.
Yeah.
I love it. And this is a really good local spot for us, kind of local-ish.
Yeah, it's kind of local. It's only an hour and a half from town.
Yeah.
Technically, it's like an hour and 20 minutes from the house.
Yeah.
But it's nice out here. We've camped here before a few times. We really enjoy it. It's actually, it's just nice and peaceful out here. It's beautiful. There's 2 lakes here, one on both sides of the camp. And you're backed right up here to this beautiful lake. And it's just beautiful out here. It's nice.
It is so quiet and peaceful. Just what we were looking for.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm glad that this is what Abby picked. We would have liked to got into a state park, but the state parks, it's just gotten ridiculous how it's always booked up, it's always busy, it's always full, and it's gotten to where you just about have to book 6, 8, 10 months out in advance now to get a site in a state park anymore.
It's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I understand. They're awesome. So people have figured it out.
People have figured it out.
Yeah.
And it's low cost too at a state park.
Agreed.
But this is a nice place. Even in the summertime, they have a pool up here that you can go to. They have a rec area. They even have like a kitchen in there that you can use.
And you can rent the kayaks, which we will not be doing.
Absolutely. You might be able to see them behind me there. You got kayaks you can rent. They have fishing boats you can rent here. I think you can bring your own boat, and if you got a little small fishing boat, you can bring it out here too.
Well, Adam did make me breakfast this morning because he makes me breakfast usually every morning that we're camping. But I wanted to talk about something that we used a couple days ago. You pulled it out for the first time, and I absolutely loved that whole experience. But talk about your grandfather's griddle.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been cleaning out the kitchen, and I've had Granddad's griddle put up in the cabinet. I can't even remember how long. It's probably been 20 years that it's been up in that cabinet. I never used it. But I pulled it out and I showed it to Abby. I said, this is the griddle that my granddad made long time ago. I have no idea when he made it. But the griddle is made from a very thick piece of aluminum. I haven't measured it yet. I'm going to. It's either 5/8 or 3/4 thick aluminum. And he ball milled a channel around the perimeter of it to catch the grease. But the reason that he made that is it's really cool. Granddad made his own 2-burner cook stove, camp stove, and he made all the accessories that go with it, all himself. And so this is a rectangular shape because of the 2 burners on there. And he made 2 pots out of aluminum. One fits both burners, so it's the full rectangular, and one of them is the half. And there's also a basket made out of stainless steel expanded metal that you can put in there also. And so what he would have is he'd have the basket in there, and he would fry his fish on one side and fry his French fries on the other side.
God, that's so awesome.
That was Granddad's like
His
go-to
jam.
camp meal was homemade fries. I would watch him. He would peel his potatoes, and he would cut all the fries by hand, and then he would go. He loved camping on Escambia River and fishing on Escambia River, and so that was his enjoyment. They would take the old Winnebago. It used to be a bus, and then he had a Winnebago, but they'd take it up to the river and camp and go fishing all week long, catch brim, bluegill, crappie, bass, catfish, all the normal stuff. And they would clean them, and he would have fish fries all the time at camp.
That's
And
so awesome.
that's a memory of childhood right there. But anyway, what I was getting at was that Granddad made all this stuff himself. He made everything, and so he made the griddle. And I really don't have any memories of watching him use the griddle, but I'm sure he cooked breakfast on it. He cooked burgers on it, I'm sure. So that was his cook stove.
I love that the bottom you can see the two burner kind of marks on
the
there
pattern.
from use. I like that.
Yeah. So we brought it out, and I told Abby, I said, this would work really great on our Hasty Bake grill, the Legacy grill. And so I washed it, and I said, let's cook some breakfast on there. And that's exactly what we did. Cook some bacon on it, and it worked great.
I really like your idea of getting the can with the hook
Yeah.
to kind of sit on the grill and let the grease like go into it.
Yeah.
I think that we should try to do that
Yeah.
sometime.
Yeah, we will.
'Cause that's really cool.
And it'll be easy in the Legacy. You just take any kind of can. You can take a soup can, whatever.
Yeah.
And just put some kind of hook on it, and you can hang that on the grill grate itself underneath the edge of the griddle. Granddad, when he machined it, his ball mill, he had it so that the channel run off the very end of the griddle. I'm assuming that he had some kind of can sitting there on the ground that caught the grease.
Of course.
So that was his way of, that's how he wanted to make it. But
It's the craftsman thing, isn't it? Oh, I just love it so much. I cannot get enough of it.
Yeah.
Just wanting something and going, all right, I'm just going to make this.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And I still have all that stuff. It's put up in the garage. I haven't had any real reason to use any of it. But when I was younger and my granddad passed away, my dad was living there at my granddad's house, for a long time, and we were just kind of cleaning up and sorting things, and nobody was really using that stuff, but I wanted to save it, preserve it, and keep it in the family.
I'm so glad you did.
So I took it all and I just put it up high on one of the shelves in the garage out there, and that's where it's been. And I've always wanted to pull it out and use it, and we will one day. I think I'd like to, for the Adventure Channel.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun to pull it out.
Like all the stuff you mean?
Yeah, just pull it all out, for nostalgic reasons.
Yeah.
Let's use
Well, the
Granddad's.
little scoop is the most precious thing.
I forgot to mention the scoop.
Yeah.
The scoop is awesome.
Yeah.
It's also made out of stainless steel expanded metal, the expanded metal that has the round holes in it. And he formed up a scooper, really nicely done. You can tell they used a brake, to bend the edges. He has a stainless steel tube as the handle part. He flattened it on one end and then TIG welded it to that. And on the opposite end, it's a wooden file handle on there.
Of course it is.
And so that was his scoop for scooping his fish out, scooping his French fries out of the fryer. And I got all that stuff.
So he cut his own potatoes for fries.
Yeah, he did. I remember
this is so
many
cool.
times walking in the house, and he was sitting there he had a little round dining room table that they ate at, and he would be sitting there with a knife in his hand, just peeling the potatoes. And that's what he
It's a
did.
good memory, huh?
Yeah. And those were some good French fries.
I bet they were.
Yeah, they were good French fries, and
That
his
sounds
fish
so
was
good.
always good too.
What are your favorite type of fries? Do you have like a favorite?
No.
Like crinkle is for me. Like crinkle all day long.
I don't really have it doesn't really matter to me if it's crinkle or a regular fry. I just like a good tasting fry, and they have
hot
to
fry.
and they have to be hot and
Yeah.
salty.
Yeah.
I usually I usually take extra salt and pour more salt on mine because I
don't know
like
if
the
you
salt bite.
do you remember when Wendy's used to have the fat, like steak fries?
Yeah.
I loved those fries.
Is that back in the yellow Wendy's
It
days?
was the
when
yellow
everything was
Wendy's
yellow?
day. Yes, it was. With the chili was so good, and they
Yeah.
had the baked potato with the broccoli and the cheese.
Yeah.
And obviously the Frosties are still
Frosties
the
are-
best thing that they
Isn't
have.
that what
That's-
people go to Wendy's for? Is the Frosties?
I feel like that's the reason that they're open still, but I just really love Frosties. So
I saw a funny video the other day. They were having a chili cook-off. I think it was like a friends and family neighborhood thing. Some guy went to Chili's and bought 3 jugs of the Wendy's chili, and dumped it into a crock pot, and that's what he brought to the potluck.
I wonder if everybody liked it. Like, oh, this is the best chili.
Yeah, I didn't actually listen to the video, but I just thought that was hilarious, though.
I haven't had Wendy's chili in a very long time, so I don't know if it's still.
I hadn't either, but it was good. I used to eat it back in the day.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So
I saw a thing where they used to have a buffet. I never.
I don't remember that.
Me either. Oh.
Wow. Oh, that's a dump truck. I noticed they're
it's not a
doing
lawnmower.
something at the other end of the park. They're doing some construction. They're adding some dirt or something down there.
All right, so today's topic is an interesting one, and it's one of those topics that everyone has to talk about in business, but it's sometimes difficult. So we love difficult topics, don't we?
Sometimes
Oh.
difficult. It seems like it's the most difficult topic.
I think you're right. I think it might be. So this episode is going to be about the cost of machining, and it's complicated because you could very easily let this topic get you to where you're ranting.
Yes, you can.
So
And everybody has a different opinion about it as well.
yes, and so how this conversation started for Adam and I, because a lot of the times our topics really do come from conversations that we just end up having, at lunch or while we're eating our dinner or whatever. But this one specifically for me, I recently had a friend ask me to do a logo for them, and it was the hey man. Can you,
Hey man,
I need this right now. It's, 5 minutes tops that it'll take you
that's
to do
the
this.
classic right there. Hey man, I got a hot one for you, but it'll take you 5 minutes tops, guaranteed.
So let's talk about the cost of machining, because I think this runs to pretty much any industry, especially if you're a tradesman or a craftsman in any way. This is probably your hot topic. But
Yeah.
I know you've had to deal with this being a repair shop for so many years.
Yeah.
So talk about this experience for you a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it affects people differently depending on what type of business they have, what type of shop they have.
And what kind of person they are.
With our shop, it has always been a general industrial repair machine shop, but a little bit of everything. Meaning, we had a lot of walk-in people, and this was more in when I worked with my dad full time, and we ran the shop 5 days a week. It was open doors, which is not how it is now. We don't run an open door business. That's our place to go and work. But you get a lot of walk-ins. You have a lot of repeat customers. We did a lot of work for utility companies around the county, construction companies, electric motor shops, pump shops. So a lot of industrial commercial businesses brought us work on the regular basis.
And we're probably not talking about those people as much, because if you're in the industry, I think that you understand the cost of doing business.
Yeah, I think other businesses have a really good understanding of what the cost is, but you also, when you have long-term customers, you build up that trust with them that you feel they probably get comfortable with what the cost is. They know that
You're going to treat them right.
you're going to treat them fairly.
Right.
And honestly, treating everyone fairly is what I believe we've always done.
Yes.
Always. We don't try to price gouge anyone. We never have, although there's people that will disagree with you.
Yes.
That they think that
Specifically
they were
friends and
treated
family.
wrongly. But you were saying you had someone reach out to you
Yes.
to create a logo. This is part of what Abby does, with her graphic arts. So she occasionally gets the hey man, or people that want her to help them create something,
And it's never the easy logo. It's never the easy whatever it is. It's always really complicated, and a lot of the times I maybe even would make a suggestion that would make it a little, function a little better, or for instance, it has to be able to be really small and really big.
Yeah.
It's not only on your business card. If you want to use it, on a banner or something. There's just a lot of things that my years of experience has told me, and they don't want to hear any of that. And so it ends up becoming one of those things where you're angry.
You get frustrated.
Because I don't expect every person to understand that this is art and that it takes creativity and knowledge and experience to do these things, and that it isn't done in 5 minutes and should not be done in 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Ever.
And even if it did take you 5 minutes, that doesn't mean that they only pay 5 minutes of your hourly rate. It doesn't work that way. We all survive on income. Every business has to make a profit. Everybody works to make income, to pay their bills and buy groceries.
That's right.
So the expectations of people doing something for free, it's not right.
But I mean, you go and you get your hair cut. You're not negotiating
You're not
with
going
your
to barter
hairstylist.
you're not going to go to a barber shop and tell them, well, I know you want $20, but I'm only going to give you 10. They're going to tell you, there's the door.
There's
get
the
out.
door. And I mean, we've talked a lot about electricians, lawyers. I mean, you name it. I mean, they're in a position where they're basically probably saying, well, then go do it yourself. Well, I can't do electrical. I have to pay the rate that they offer me because and I respect them enough to know that they have the experience that I'm paying for him to have the experience, him or her, to have the experience that my building is not going to burn down because he's doing it correctly.
You're paying someone for their expertise.
That's right.
On how to do a certain type of job properly.
And I may not end up liking the total bill, but it is what it is. And I feel like that I have respect enough for that, but I don't understand why there are some trades that just don't get that type of respect. And again, maybe it's us. Maybe we're just too sensitive, which I am for sure. But putting a price on what something is worth is so difficult.
Yeah. And so Abby and I talk about this. I think a lot of times when you have an individual that comes to your shop, your business, to ask you about performing a job for them, or making something for them, or repairing something for them, they have already attached a value to this part that they want made or fixed. They already have it in their mind. Well, this is how much I think it should be worth to make this part, and that's all I'm going to pay. And I'm just saying that's how it feels sometimes. Yeah. That's how it is. And so people will come to you and ask you about doing a job, and you have to come up with a quote. You have to come up with a quote that you not only feel is fair, it's a fair price. It's a fair price for the customer, and it's a fair price for the shop. The shop is going to make a little bit of money off that. Keeping in mind that you're still trying to just do the simple little job to help someone out. You want to help people. You really do. You want to help people out. And sometimes it's a very simple little thing that needs to be done, but oftentimes it's not just a simple thing.
Almost never.
People think it's a simple thing.
The simplest things
all you got to do
are usually the most complicated things.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just for design, but I think machine's probably a similar thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
just because you've decided that this looks easy, even though you can't do it.
Yeah. And so that's and so that's what we're discussing. Sometimes people think that something is very, very simple to do, and that it should only cost this much money to do. and then they come to you and show you what they need, and you look it over and you try to establish some kind of estimate in labor that you think you can get this job done in. And you have to make a profit off of that, right? And so you give this price, and I've had it happen many times. People will balk at you over the price that you say, and then they want to question you on, why are you going to charge me this much money? It's just this simple little thing that I need done. And I think and I'm just saying, this is just some scenarios. Not everybody is this way, but you have to make a profit. So people get, it's like they're insulted that you're saying, well, I'm gonna make this part for you for X amount of money, but they don't think it's worth that.
Yeah, my favorite one, and this happens to him more than I'd like to admit, it's the I could buy this for price.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's one of those things, if you can buy it for that, then why are you here? Why would you think that this machine shop can do it for less than what you think you can go buy it for?
Yeah.
I just, again, I mean, if you're doing the work yourself, then you understand how much work it takes to do that. So if it's something that you don't have the ability to do, like I'm talking about something very specific. So that the one project that the guy wanted you to quote for him.
Yeah, it's another example. And what Abby's saying is that's common too, is people will bring you a part that they want modified. And you give them a price, and they'll say, well, I only paid X amount of money for this thing. Why would I pay all this money to have this thing modified? In reality, it's not the responsibility of the shop, the business, to know how much this little part costs. Let's use a little sprocket, a Browning sprocket. You go down to the Motion Industries, and they have these little sprockets on the shelf that are blanks, that you typically bore them, broach a keyway, and put a set screw in, right? And that's, depending on the size of the sprocket, that could be a 30-minute job, it could be an hour job, whatever. It's kind of routine, but use that as an example because I've had this happen before. Somebody brought me a little part. It was just a little part like that. And that's exactly what they wanted. They wanted it bored out, they wanted it broached, and a set screw drilled and tapped in there. And I think I quoted them like a half hour or something. It really wasn't that much. And they said, well, I only paid $5 for this thing. I'm sorry, but that's not my responsibility. This shop has to make a profit, and I'm still trying to help you out here.
Yeah.
It's probably going to take me more than a half hour to gather up the tools, set the lathe up, go to the press, set the milling machine up, because sometimes the machines, you have to set them up to do the job. They're not just waiting for that one job to go in there.
I mean, you're breaking down another
That's what I'm
saying. To do this one simple 5-minute job.
Yeah.
And it's...
But that's just an example.
Yeah.
Right there. But let's talk about what it costs to run a shop. Think about all the bills that every business owner has to pay. The biggest one is probably going to be the mortgage payment or the lease payment for the building that you're in. That's usually the big one. Right now we're not talking about like payroll or anything. Let's just talk about the bills. You have rent that you have to pay, or mortgage or lease. All right. Then you have the power bill, which in our case can be pretty substantial because we're running machines a lot. So you have the power bill. In our case also, we have the internet bill, which infuriates me. How much they charge you for internet for a business versus a home.
A home, yeah.
And I can understand, I mean, some businesses are huge and they have hundreds of people using the internet, but still, it's like 4 times the cost.
A two-person business is not the same as a 75 employees making videos, as taking bandwidth or whatever.
Right.
Like, it's not the same
But
situation.
point is, internet's expensive.
Yes.
And everybody has to pay it in this day and age. Everything runs off the internet now.
Yeah.
You know, on top of that, we have a security bill for our cameras in there, which is another essential thing that I think most businesses like to have now is cameras. So anyway, that's a bill there that you have to pay. And then you have just shop supplies that you have to purchase, you know, like let's just say in the bathroom you have to have the paper towels, you have to have hand soap,
Gloves, hearing
hearing
protection,
yeah,
eye
so
protection.
PPE.
Yeah, PPE, yeah.
PPE. We have shop towels out there. We have cleaners out there. We have coolant out there that we have to buy. We have tools that we have to buy. Tooling's a big one.
Huge one.
I mean, it's easy just to
I
a
was
couple
shocked.
cutters and there's $200-300.
I personally did not realize how much those things really added up over time. You know what I mean? Just the tooling alone, not to mention the work holding and
Yeah.
the tool holding and I mean everything else.
Yeah. And so you've got tooling that you're buying. You have tool holding that you're buying. You have work holding that you're having to buy. So you have all these things. And one that we haven't even mentioned yet is a machine payment.
Yeah.
Are you making payments on machines? Are you leasing them, or do you own them outright? You know, so that's a lot of bills stacking up there that you have to pay just in order to break even.
Yeah.
And then so you have to make profit on top of that. You have to,
Yeah.
or you won't survive. So you have to make a profit. So it's easy to, I mean, look in a shop and it's easy to say, well, you've probably got $500,000 invested in here. You've got all these machines in here. Some of those may be making payments on. Some of them are, you know, you already own them. You've already paid for them. You've got all this tooling that you've having to buy, drills, end mills, all types of cutters, the tools, the work holding, the vices, the chucks, you know, all this stuff. It all adds up.
Yeah.
And
your education. I mean that, you know, it's
so you have
it really is a many years of knowing what to do when, so you can do something quickly.
That's right.
I mean, you don't do it quickly just because you can do it quickly. You can do it quickly because you've been doing it for 25 years, or for what are you at? 20, almost 30 years.
I'm at over 28 years now
So I'm
in
20.
the trade.
I'm 21 years for graphic design.
Yeah.
There. I mean, if I do make something quickly, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you're also you're paying a business
Yeah.
if you go to a shop. And this can be any shop. We're not talking about just a machine shop. It could be a welding shop, fabrication shop, carpenter shop, you know. You're paying them for their years of experience also, because they've invested all of the years and the time on learning and improving and getting efficient at the job that they do to provide that service for a customer. And on top of that, this business has invested tons of money in the building and the machines and the tools and the equipment, and they have to pay power bill. And then most businesses have to make payroll too on top of that. So you have to make a profit.
yeah.
So many times for a small business, small machine shop, it can be a little frustrating trying to quote jobs for people that you don't want to upset them because
You want them to be
because
a
of sticker
customer.
shock.
That's right. You want them to come back. You want them to bring you more projects.
Yeah.
I mean,
But the customers have to have a general understanding that this place isn't free.
Yeah.
None of this stuff is free. You have to pay for it.
yeah.
You know, it's an investment. So you're having to pay for the equipment and pay for the bills to be able to work here and make a little bit of profit on top of that, you know?
And I mean, the ones where they want you to really care about what they're doing because it means something to them. So therefore, I need you to do it for free.
Doing things for free should not be expected. If you do something for free, you're doing it because you care and you want to help this person. Generally, it's a good friend of yours, or it's a neighbor of yours,
I have helped,
or a family member.
That's right. I have done many things for free over my career. Many things. And none of those things were easy. Not one of them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, not one single one.
Yeah, I've done I've done a lot of jobs for people that were either family members or friends of the family, and you could tell that they were shocked when we told them how much we were going to charge to do it.
You probably just charge them just for the material. I mean, literally, that's
There's
all.
been plenty of times
so
where
I'm not losing money to make this part for you. And that's the other thing, is that you physically could lose money by making something for someone for free.
yeah,
Because those drops that's money.
yeah.
You know, I mean.
And many times when I'm trying to quote a relatively small job for an individual person, I'm trying my best to knock it down a little bit.
Yes.
You know, where I feel like we're going to make a little bit of money off of this, but not a lot. We're just enough really to pay the bills.
Yeah.
On what it takes to do a job.
Yeah.
And oftentimes those people are still surprised at how much you're asking to do a relatively simple job.
So maybe the key to this really is just getting to the point where you don't care their reaction. Because is that where I have to be in order to feel fine about this? Like,
well,
I mean, I admit my fault with money. Like it's very difficult to figure out the value of something that you're giving someone.
I think for some people it's difficult to list the price.
Yeah.
But maybe you get accustomed to it after a time. This is business.
Yeah.
You know, it's strictly business. This is not personal. We're not trying to attack you.
No.
And we're not trying to price gouge you, but this is business. This is how much it costs to do a job.
Yeah.
And I understand if you don't feel comfortable paying that, then don't, or go try to find somebody else to do it. You know, but our particular shop, you know, so Booth Machine has always been a job shop. Ever since Granddad and Dad opened it up back in 1972, it was always a job shop. So they had their regular type of work, but I mean, so pretty much whatever came in the door is what they did. But it was generally a lot of repair work or machining new components for things that were damaged and you can't necessarily get that part anymore.
You can't go buy it, right?
So it was a lot of repair work and a lot of fabricating. And these people our customers, they would come to us on the regular basis. We'd be having, you know, different work in there. But you still get a lot of walk-ins, you know, that want you to do something. I remember this was years ago. I told Dad, I said, how about we put our hourly rate up on the wall? So as soon as you come into the shop, we did that. We had it up there at that time when we put that up there. It was $70 an hour shop rate, and me and him decided let's have a minimum charge. And we actually learned that from the welding shop back when David owned it. They had a minimum of $20. It didn't matter what it was. If you walked in there
for it,
and they had to help you do something, the minimum it would be was $20. And the reason behind that is because you end up wasting a lot of time screwing around with things to try to help people out all day long.
Yeah.
Instead of making your hourly, you got this other job over here, you've got several jobs over here that's waiting to be done, and they're happy to pay your $70 an hour rate. But then you have people that walk in and want to wait for you to do something, and then they don't want to pay for it. They just, well, can't you just help me out? You know, all you did was just drill a hole in something. But so years ago, they established a minimum of $20 an hour. All right, and then when me and Dad put the hourly rate up on the wall at $70, we decided let's charge $10 minimum, $10 minimum charge. And we did that because we had a lot of people that came in with very simple little things that just needed done. I remember one time somebody brought a part, it had a broken bolt in there, and they brought, like, can you get this broken bolt out? They didn't mess with it, but you could see it was just sheared off. I went and I put it in the vise. And the very first thing that we always do is if you can reach it, you just take your finger and just push down on it and see if you could spin it. I did that and it started coming out. I took it and I unscrewed it. I took it out of the vise and handed it to him. I said, here you go. That was one of the easiest repairs I've ever done. I didn't even charge them the $10,
yeah.
You know, because that would have been,
but it was a good job that he didn't touch it and try to get, right?
Because that's the complete opposite of how they usually show up.
Yeah.
People will bring let me tell you about one that I had. This was, I think it was last year at the new shop. I had a guy show up. He found us. A lot of people find us not because of Abom79, just because they found a machine shop. This guy pulled up. He had a complete Ford, I think it was a 460 big block out of a Torino in the back of his truck, sitting on a tire, even the transmission. It was the whole thing. And they had a broken bolt. I think it was the water pump, where the water pump goes, maybe. There was a broken bolt in there. And you know, and they always start with, well, I got a broken bolt. I need to see if you can get it out for me. You know, I know you guys can do that kind of stuff. Let me show you what I got. Walk out there. And first of all, the first red flag is it's this entire engine sitting in the back of a truck. And he's telling you what it, you know, well, we got a water pump that mounts here, and this goes in my Torino that I had whenever I was a teenager, and I bought it back, and now I'm trying to fix it back up. You know, it means a lot to me. Got this broken bolt. And I'm looking at it, and I said, you already tried to get this out, didn't you? Yeah, I tried to drill it out, and the drill broke off in there, so we put an ease out in there and tried to get it out with an ease out, and that broke off in there too. I'm just over there like, all that does is compound the job and make it way worse than it should be to begin with.
Yeah.
And he wanted me to fix that broken bolt while he waited. He said, can you just go ahead and, like, can I just wait here and have you drill that out? I said, there is no easy drilling out. And I said, you've got a drill and an easy out broke out. That's absolute worst. Everything you try to drill is it's gonna break your drills. You're gonna have to use carbide. And when you're trying to drill a hole by hand with a carbide drill, you're just gonna break them. They're gonna break and snap off.
How many of those have you done?
I've done a lot.
A lot.
People really don't realize how many
Yeah.
I've done. When I worked with Dad full time, we did broken bolts every week.
Yeah.
We were doing broken bolt repairs, and I really enjoy it. It's very satisfying when it works out,
Of course,
the way you want it to.
Yes.
But that situation there, I did not want to get wrapped up in that mess.
Yeah.
On top of that, I was already busy doing something. I had to stop what I was doing to go out there and look at this. And I was already on a job, and I didn't want to come off of that job
To do this.
do this. So I politely told the man, I said, I'm sorry that you need this done. I said, but I'm not gonna take this job in. I'm not gonna do it. And I didn't give him a bunch of reasons. I just told him, I said, I don't want to take this job in. I'm sorry. Maybe you can find an automotive shop somewhere in town. There's automotive shops everywhere. I said, maybe you can find a mechanic somewhere that can help you get this done. And I just turned it down. That's not something that I wanted to spend my time doing, because I had other work in the shop that I needed to do.
And you already know what it's going to take to do it. And
well, it was the classic hey man thing.
yeah. And he wasn't going to want to
Hey
pay
man,
for it.
I got a broke bolt out here.
Yeah.
You think you can get this out real quick? I don't know if I could have gotten that broken bolt out
Yeah.
there with enough time and broken tools. You could have, but I wasn't ready to put myself in that situation.
Yeah, 'cause it's funny because there's, for me at least, and I'm sure you're the same way, there's I really want to do this, and I'm going to give you a really good deal because I really want to do it.
Yeah.
There's okay, great, this is going to be a good project price. You know, then there's I really don't want to do this price, but I'll do it if you pay me to do it. And then there's I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to price this because I'm not going to touch it.
That particular one, you know, I wasn't rude or anything. I was looking at it and I told him, I said, sir, I don't feel comfortable taking this in. I'm gonna turn you away. And I hate to say that. I said, but you really need to try to find a good mechanic shop that can help you take care of this. So, and what I usually try to tell people, because we had a guy show up a few weeks ago with a car on a trailer, same situation.
Yep.
He went out there and he popped the hood. That's the first red flag right there, popped the hood. But I ended up telling him, I said, I don't come out here and work underneath the hood of a car, especially trying to get a broken bolt out. I know other people do that. That's not what I do.
Yeah.
I said, now if you've got a part that you have removed from from your engine, from your car, that I can put in my shop, take it to the milling machine and set it up in the machine or whatever, then that's the
fine.
way
Yeah.
that I prefer to do this type of work.
Yeah.
I don't want to come out and work under the hood of a car that's
Yeah.
on a trailer hooked to a truck.
Yeah.
That's not what I choose to
That guy
do.
looked really stressed. He was very stressed.
He was.
He like threw himself into the shop. It was, I mean, we were both like,
Yeah, we usually keep the door locked. And this particular moment, I had forgotten to lock the door. And he walked in.
he threw
and
himself in.
We were both working at our computer at that moment, you know, and I looked over and I said, yeah, can I help you? He came in and just, we've got our signs on the granite plate. This is do not set anything on the surface. He come in and just leaned on our granite plate like that, going
in front of the two signs.
He didn't say anything. I hope you can help me, like that.
He was very stressed.
And started saying he's got this broken bolt situation on his BMW, and so anyway, that was another one too. I declined him also, and I told him, I'm not. This is not the type of job that I do.
Yeah.
I said, if that cylinder head, it was off the car and you brought it to me and I can set it up in my milling machine
Yeah.
to do the job properly, I'll do it for you. But I'm not going to come out here and try to drill out this. It was already tried to drill. It was halfway off the hole, broken things down into the hole. I mean, just made a mess of it.
Yeah.
Yep. So we like it when people bring us something that they haven't messed with.
Yeah.
If you got a broken bolt, bring it to us. That's a great challenge, but I want to set it up in the mill
Yeah.
to be able to do that. That particular hole, that last one, would have needed an insert put in there because it was already drilled halfway off into the casting, and there was stuff broke off in there. So it needed to be set up and centered up properly, and drill it out and tap it and put a solid thread insert in there to bring it back to size. That's what would have needed to be done. But I mean, he wanted it done right then and there on the car, under the hood of the car, and that's just not how we do business.
I think the other thing too that really applies to you, and this is because you and I have had this conversation personally many, many times. You don't like to hand a customer something that isn't accurate and perfect.
Yeah.
You just don't. It is just your sensibilities. And so when they bring him something that is just tore up, not in a, I mean, you're not.
That's the case in a machine shop though.
And I know that, but it is really interesting.
I think one of the things that grinds my gears, it's always ground my gears, is when they bring you that kind of stuff and they don't even make an attempt to clean it off. You have to do all this work to it, but it's covered in grease and oil.
Yeah.
And dirt and rocks and all this stuff. And that was the other thing. I remember David at the welding shop. He used to tell people, because they used to have to repair a lot of transmissions, like weld transmissions that were cracked or whatever. The same thing. He'd say, yeah, they bring these transmissions and they're just caked in transmission oil. And he says, well, we have to clean that before you weld it.
Yeah.
So before we can do the job, we got to spend a bunch of time cleaning it. So he applied a cleaning fee.
As you should.
I think it was like $100.
Yeah.
And the reason he did that is because it forced these people to take it back and clean the thing and then bring it back so that they didn't have to spend a bunch of time doing
Cleaning
that.
it. Yeah.
So that's kind of like always been in my mindset, is that whenever you'd have stuff like that show up, you know, I don't recall ever doing that or saying that, but I always thought that it really would be nice if people would clean this stuff up, even if you just take some rags and try to wipe the grease and oil and stuff off of it, but before you bring it to a shop.
They don't care.
It's amazing how common that is.
Yeah.
Is that you get parts that are just covered in grease and oil.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it is interesting because if you do a job for someone that's also in the trades, they're always better. Like, they get it a lot of the time. And like, so when people come into the shop that you've worked with in the past, they have their drawing. The part, what they have that is pristine looking, and it's very clear on what needs to be done, and maybe that's just because they've worked with you, but I always know that when they come in and they have a folder,
Yeah.
oh, he's taking this job,
Oh, yeah.
because
Yeah.
those
They're
people
organized.
they're organized. They
Gotta
understand.
love the organization.
Yeah, and they also probably, for the most part, understand that the value of having someone do something professionally.
Yep.
And not just buying the part off, the shelf or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. There was one that you had mentioned earlier, is that we had another individual come to us. This was also last year. And he had a dividing head that he said that he made himself. And it was a nice looking piece.
Which is fantastic, yeah.
It was a nice looking piece. It wasn't too big. It was, it's about like that. So it was a dividing head, and he said that, he goes, I'm trying to find a shop that will machine the 360-degree graduations on the outside of the faceplate for me. I guess he didn't have the ability to do that because he's making the dividing head that you would need to do that, right? So he was looking for a shop to do that. So he showed me what he had, and he goes, can you do this? I said, yeah, we can do that. Well, how much will it cost? And I'm looking at it, and again, they want something right off the top of the head, and I have to think about it. I really do. I have to think about how much time it's going to take me to do it. I have to set the mill up, so you got to think about what fixturing you got to use to. In my case, I think this could have easily been done with an angle plate, but you have to figure out how to clamp it to it, So you have a setup time that it takes, and then the machining time. And when you're doing something like that with a dividing head, it's pretty time consuming, especially if you have to have 360 individual divisions all the way across there. You have to have your depth set, for the end mill. So anyway, I'm trying to think of the time it's going to take, and this is where I get a little frustrated, because I want to make sure that I price it not too low, that I'm actually doing it for free and not making a profit. But I don't want to price it to where they think that I'm trying to gouge them for whatever reason. And I just told him, I was like, well, man, I'm probably going to have, 2 or 3 hours in this, the setup and the machining and all that. And he said, well, I can buy that thing for $100. And
Well,
I told him, I said, then maybe you should just buy one, because there's no shop here in town that I know of that's going to machine what you need done for less than $100.
No.
They're just not going to do that. I mean, what he's looking for is a buddy.
Yeah.
He wants a buddy with a milling machine that he can go over and sit with him and do all this work, and that just seemed like what he was expecting there. It's just help me out.
Yeah.
Well, I was willing to help him out, but the shop has to make a profit on it. So that was another case where somebody has already attached a dollar value to this part, and they're only willing to spend this amount of money to have the work done that needs to be done, not realizing that it's going to take longer than that, and that whatever shop you go to is going to have an hourly rate that they have to charge in order to make a profit.
Yeah.
You've got all these tools and these machines that you've invested in to do the job that you're asking them to do. And you have to pay for that. And you need to make a little profit on top of that.
I do sometimes wish that, and I understand, again, money is the most difficult thing in business, and I get it.
It is.
But
it's the hardest thing to do, is tell somebody how much you want to charge them to do a job.
Yeah, and I almost wish that they would say, I can buy this for $100. Can you do it for less than that? So then you can quickly say, no, especially today, I can't do that, and blah blah blah. And then at least they've let you know that they have this is what I'm gonna pay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I get it. And again, and I understand that people just can't spend money on, and I understand that as well. But you just can't do that for everyone every single time.
Yeah.
And that it's that balance, I think, that's so complicated.
Yep.
But I love it when people bring me projects, and I like when things are different. I know you do too, especially if it's something that it's unique.
Well, so recently we quoted a job to make a part, and a couple of weeks went by, didn't hear anything, and I finally get to ask, because I was actually quoting it for someone else for their customer. And I asked him, I said, well, what about these parts that you have? Well, I never heard from you, you know, yay or nay, whatever. And he says, oh, yeah, I texted him and told him what the price was. And he says, well, no, we can buy those for $64 a piece. And he says, well, why are you having us quote these things if you can buy, that seemed, for the part, that seemed pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Right? And it makes sense on why it's that cheap, because it's a mass-produced part.
Right.
It's a part that they have some shop somewhere in the country making these things.
Thousands and thousands
probably
of them.
by
Right.
the thousands, and
Yeah.
they're sitting on a shelf, so you can charge that much. But you went to a local shop and said, I want 5 of these.
Yeah.
Give me a price to make 5 of them. Well, it's going to be more expensive than
Yeah.
$64 a piece.
Yeah.
Because it takes so much more time to do that. Now, if you needed 100 of them made, that's the price goes down, because once you set the machine up, this would have been a great CNC job, because once you set the machine up, which takes the time to do, and you get the first one proven out, then it's repeatable, and you're just doing them over and over again, and then you're literally doing them in minutes,
Yeah.
you know, instead of however long it takes to do the first one. But I think this isn't always going to happen, but I think it's more respectful for the shop owner if you come into them with a part that you already know you can buy it for X amount of money, but maybe they're going to this shop because they want to give them the business.
Support local.
They
of
want to
course.
support your
That's
local
right.
shop,
That's
right? And that's what we appreciate, you know.
Very much, yes.
So we want to support you. Can you make this part with us? Can you make this part for us? But know that we can buy this part from the company for $64 a piece all day long.
Yeah.
And that will tell the business owner right then and there, you're better off going and buying that, because we can't make those parts for less than that.
Right.
They're going to be a lot more expensive than that if you only want 5 of them made. But that would save a lot of time and frustration if a customer will just be straight up about that. Just say, we'd love to give you this business, but we can buy these parts for X amount of money. Can you at least match that?
Yeah.
Or can you be close to that price?
Yeah.
With understanding that you only want a few of them, it's going to cost more money to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a little better approach if people would just be a little more honest up front about how much they can buy a part for. But I think people have the sense of, well, if I tell them, then you know they're going to be trying to get every bit of that out of me.
Yeah.
Why would I pay them the same if I can buy it for this much?
Right.
But that's not how it is.
Yeah, I mean, a chair from Walmart is not the same as paying a craftsman to make you a chair.
Yeah.
And if you say to that craftsman, oh, I can just buy this at Walmart, then please
Yeah.
go ahead. You're not getting, these are not apples to apples here. Like, we're not.
A handcrafted chair
right.
is an entirely different world compared to something you buy from Walmart or Amazon.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
You're talking handmade versus commercially high production made.
That's right.
2 separate things.
And not everybody can afford to pay a craftsman, and I understand that. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But go thrifting. That's what you need to do. If you, no. But I always want to be able to pay a craftsman. I think it just means so much more. But you and I are in a little different situation, just the respect that we have, I think, for craftsmen.
Yeah.
Well, this is a difficult topic. It just is, because it's money.
Well, it is.
Money just sucks.
The money is always the hardest thing to talk about.
Yeah.
It always is. It's the hardest thing to talk about. And, over the last 13-ish years, I've had a lot of people email me about doing jobs for them because of the channel. A lot of these jobs I have done and put on the channel, and they agreed to pay whatever it was I quoted. But I've had a lot of these people email me back, and they can't believe that it's going to cost that much to do this. And in fact, I was just hoping that you would do it for free and put it on your channel. There's a lot of people that think that because I'm going to do a project and make a video of it, that it should be free.
Yeah.
But I also have a lot of people that don't feel that way.
Yeah.
That they're emailing me because they're looking for a machine shop to help them do a part, so I'll quote it and I'll ask them. I'm like, is this okay to make a video project out of it? So the video project is a bonus for us as the business.
Yeah.
It really is. But you can't do anything for free.
You don't expect other people to work for free.
No.
Again, I mean, if you hire an electrician, if you go to get your hair cut, if you know, I mean, there's so many things. If you go to a restaurant and you eat your dinner, you have to pay for your dinner. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's how this works.
And tip your server.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you don't want to do that, then you don't go out. I mean, so I don't know. I know that this is never going to be one of those things that's going to change. It's just always going to be what it is.
Here's another funny thing to think about when it comes to an hourly shop rate that it takes a machine shop to be able to run and make a profit. And this used to annoy my dad whenever he had to hire an electrician to come and run a new circuit to hook a new machine up. It was usually expensive.
Yeah.
And it was usually sticker shock also.
Yeah.
About how much it costs to pay an electrician to come and do that. But, I understand, we all understand that it's the same thing. They have to charge so much money to make a profit, and they have stuff to pay for too. But Dad, he brought up a good point one time to me. He says, they're charging this much per hour. We're not near the same shop rate. The machine shop was much lower per hour compared to the electrical business. And he says he's got a van with tools and his supplies in it. We have a brick and mortar building here full of machines, full of tools and things that we've had to invest in, and we're charging half of what they're charging me to hook up a new machine. He used to get so mad about that. It was so funny. And I understand, because, times were tough for us a lot of times.
Yeah.
Times were tough, so it kind of hurt, but it was part of business, and it's part of the investment. You buy a machine. If you can't handle electricity yourself, you have to hire somebody in and do it. But same thing with a plumber. It's so I think plumbers, electricians are kind of in the, they charge probably around the same amount of money. And it's easy to look at them and say, well, all you've got is a van and some tools out there. Why are you charging this much? But every business establishes what it is that they want to make per hour.
And in that one, it's really their expertise that you're paying for in a lot of the ways. Because again, if the electrical works, hopefully things won't catch on fire or whatever.
And a lot of times you can get the electricians and plumbers to react very quickly.
Yes, that's true.
Especially if it's an emergency, But
by the way, that is an entirely different podcast, but everything needing to be done right now, today, immediately is exhausting.
It is.
And in industry, I completely understand that when the paper mill has something and a piece of equipment is down because of this, that is an emergency, and I understand that. But not everything is an emergency.
Yep.
Just because you want it right now doesn't mean that it is an emergency.
We did a lot of those.
And they don't want to pay for it.
We did a lot of emergency jobs when I was at Motion. Paper mills, big places like a paper mill. There was a concrete plant that we serviced, and so a lot of big industry like that. And it was kind of amazing, just stepping back and looking at the process, at what it takes to do a repair job and what it costs to get this stuff done, to get them back online. And most of the time, most of the cases, these particular customers, when I say customer, the paper mill, we don't care what it costs. We have to have this part fixed because the plant's losing $100,000 per hour without this machine running.
Let me ask you something. Why would you not have them make two?
That's a good question. In my experience,
doesn't maybe break as much.
A lot of these plants do have spares. I believe they're called capital spares. That's what I learned them as. And so there was some of the regional customers that had extra spare parts. It was reducers, which is a gearbox. So you'd have spare reducers, electric motors, and other big critical components on a shelf that were that's how it's supposed to work in theory, is that you have a backup so that whenever the part breaks, you take that one off, you put the spare online, and then you're back in business, and then you take the damaged one to the shop, and it gives them adequate time to get them repaired, right? Oftentimes that wasn't the case.
No.
Because you know what would happen? This gearbox would go down, and they would swap it out, and then they would take the one that's damaged, just set it outside, and it never would end up at the shop to get repaired. And then the second one finally fails, and all of a sudden they're in a turmoil because now the plant's down.
Now it's an emergency.
And both of their units are now down.
Yeah.
So stop what you're doing, stop the world, fix this part. It's an emergency. Instead of the due process where you have these backups, and you should take them and have the shop repair them, and that gives everybody plenty of time. You're not paying overtime rates.
Yeah.
You repair these things, and you send it back to them, and they have it on the shelf ready to go. In a perfect world, that's how it operates. And sometimes it did operate that way, but oftentimes it did not.
No.
Because I remember having that conversation with my coworkers many times about their spare was sitting outside on a pallet in the field without getting fixed. Well, whose responsibility was that? That guy, but he didn't do his job, you know? And so we'd be working overtime, working weekends, you know, trying to get this stuff done. The best one was, Friday, 4 o'clock. Take your time, as long as we have it back Monday at 7 a.m. was the best
Take your
one.
time over the weekend.
Take your time.
No problem.
We were told that. Take your time, as long as we have it back Monday morning at 7 a.m. So all the rest of us are going to enjoy our weekend. We're going fishing, and y'all fix our part.
Don't work too hard.
Yeah.
Don't work too hard over the weekend.
Yeah.
Relax.
Take your time.
Take your time.
Just take your time. Yeah, that was a good one. Hey man, I got a hot one for you. It'll just take you the weekend tops.
That's awesome. Well, I think that about covers that difficult topic.
It is a difficult topic to talk about, and we're just trying to. I know people in the industry understand this. Shop owners know this. Employees know this. I think it's more of the general public that doesn't necessarily go to shops on the regular basis to get work done, and they have sticker shock. And I think a lot of times the people that might complain about how much it costs to do something doesn't mind spending money on all these other things, though.
Yeah.
But when it comes to paying a craftsman to do a custom job for somebody, that's when it becomes an issue.
Ooh. Yeah.
You're going to charge me how much?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only a $10 part. I know I need all these things done to it, but it shouldn't take more than 5 minutes.
5 minutes tops.
Look, this has just been a topic, and it's a topic that any shop deals with, and we all deal with it. We all talk about it. We all laugh about it, you know, and we all get frustrated about it. And it's just something that we felt like it might be a good topic to discuss on the podcast.
Do you really want something made in less than 5 minutes? Like, do you really want that?
There's some people that do. Oh. There's a lot of people that don't care what it looks like.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of.
Yeah.
I've seen my share of machine work that somebody didn't care about the quality of work that they did, and then they brought the part to me for me to machine, and I'm looking at the part that somebody else made, and I'm looking at my part. Two different worlds there,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
There's people like that. I mean, it's just he's firing up the blower. Yeah, he's getting ready to come blow the leaves off.
Time to go.
I think it's getting about that time, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've been on for a little while now.
Yep.
Well, was that all that you wanted to? No,
That-
I wanted to mention something else.
Please do.
I wanted to talk about parking.
Go ahead.
Can we talk about that?
Of course we can.
I need to understand why new businesses, we're talking about restaurants, why new fast food restaurants are now designing their parking lots with nowhere to park. I don't understand that. So
It's just for the drive-through, only drive-through.
well, and so we recently had a new cookout. It's our very first cookout restaurant. Abby and I ate at one in Kentucky a few years ago, and we enjoyed it.
It was
Had a
great.
great experience.
Yeah. Great burger.
And we decided to go there a couple weeks ago to give it a try. It was on a Saturday. We were like, let's go down to the Cookout and get a burger. Pulled into the parking lot, and we had to go all the way around. There's 2 drive-thrus that go all the way around. There was like 5 spots to park in. So we parked, and we were walking up, and like, where's the door to go inside?
There wasn't one.
They did not design this for indoor seating.
No.
It was just strictly drive-through and carry out, and that's it.
Now, please tell us, like, is this the new thing? Like, no one wants to go inside anymore and everyone just sits and eats in their car? Because I mean...
I don't know. This is a big building. It looked plenty big enough that there would have been a dining room and a kitchen in there, but there's not. So I'm really surprised that they decided to make that one takeout only. Seriously.
What he didn't say is that the girl refused to make eye contact with him when he went up to the window. That's what he really wants to say, because we stood there for 5 minutes.
5 minutes. There's a window where you walk up there, and there was 2 people working. There was a guy and a girl. They were both working, and they were doing the drive-through stuff too. And they never would make eye contact with us.
He doesn't like that.
And when she finally did, I asked her, it's like, you don't have indoor seating? No, sir. I'm like, all right, thanks.
And did they have tables outside?
Not the first.
No, they did not.
Not the first table and chairs outside, which we found kind of odd. It's like, all right, well, you're not going to have a dining room, you're going to have tables outside.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the restaurants that we see have outdoor seating as well.
Even Sonic, that is supposed to only be for your car, has tables that you can go sit at if you don't want to eat in your car.
So they built the new Cookout with drive-through only and takeout only, with no parking and nowhere to sit outside, which I found really weird.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I'm just really curious as to why they decided to go that route.
And then we also went to have breakfast at the Chick-fil-A, same area.
Yeah.
And we drove around, and there were 3 spots.
Yep.
I mean, there were some handicap. Perfect. That's
I
fine
counted
with
it.
us.
There were 2 handicap accessible parking spots, and then right after that, there was 3 parking spots that were non-handicap.
And it's one of those Chick-fil-A's that has the playground inside. So kids are going to be going in there. It's a playground, but three spots.
It's a double wraparound drive-through.
Yep.
And then on the right side of when you're having to go around, there was like 3 or 4 parallel sites that says we're for pickup only. Like,
we just missed being their 100th customer. It was like 2 people after us. They got a bag of cookies. They got a whole bag of cookies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't hear the...
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I heard them hooting and hollering, but I didn't.
Yeah, 100th customer that day. We missed it by 2.
Well, I mean, that was our first time going there, and there was literally 3 parking spots, and I was asking Abby, where do they expect everybody to park? They have a dining room here, and it was pretty full.
It was a big dining room.
It was a big dining room. There was a lot of people in there. And so right behind it is the Publix and all the shopping center and stuff. So I assume that they just expect you to park over there and then have to walk over to the Chick-fil-A.
This is the other thing, is Chick-fil-A is a really good example, because I have to have a minimum of 3 sauces for the waffle fries. I don't want to do that in the car. You have to throw it, where do you put when you peel it off? Like, I just don't like it. I want to sit at a table so I can properly dip my sauce.
That's me. I want to sit down at a table and eat my meal. I don't want to take it in the car and go home with it. I just want to order it and sit down and eat.
What happens if you get your bag and they forgot to put the Chick-fil-A sauce in there? Travesty.
Your day is ruined.
Ruined. Completely ruined. Yeah.
But we love Chick-fil-A.
We do.
We have one on our side of town by the shop that we go to
once a week.
I was going to say probably once a week.
The sweet little ladies
They're
in there.
very kind. It's the service.
Yeah.
They have great
So good.
customer service. They train all of their employees on a very positive culture to greet people, to be kind to them, talk kindly to them.
Yes.
Everybody is very attentive. You know, if you walk up because you're needing an extra sauce, they acknowledge you right away and they're very kind about it. So that's why we like going there.
Yeah.
Is it the best chicken sandwich in the world? I don't know, but I know it's good, and Abby likes the fries, and the people are nice. And that one, they have like these 2 elderly ladies. They're work every
precious.
single
They
day,
do.
and all their job is they just walk around, they talk to people, they ask you, do you need a refill? Do you need anything? Hey, can I take this trash for you?
One of the ladies asked Adam what he did, because we're in there so much. And he said, well, you know, I have a machine shop. And she was like, I don't even know what a follow-up question would be to that. That's what she said.
Usually when you say that, people say, well, what kind of machines do you build? That's usually what
Yeah.
they say.
And
So
she
what
goes,
kind of
I don't
machines do
even
you
know
build?
what kind of follow-up question I can give to that. And he was like, well, okay. All right,
But-
well, I think we're about done here.
Yeah, I think so. So we're going to enjoy the next couple of days here at camp. We're going to do some camp cooking. I've got my pit barrel and my hasty bake, and our camp stove set up, and
Yes.
we're gonna enjoy some couple of down days here cooking some barbecue lakeside. Gotten a little cloudy, but we're supposed to have some good weather though.
It's
It was
not
nice and
hot.
sunny
It feels
yesterday.
nice out here. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So,
Well,
I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. It was just a discussion. We wanted to kind of talk about the rising cost of what it takes to run a shop for any business,
Yes.
any business for that matter.
yes.
And you know, you have to charge enough that you can make a profit on top of paying the bills as well.
You should.
Yeah, you have
should.
to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
But anyway,
All right.
I think that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our this was our second attempt at doing an outdoor podcast.
This one
Hopefully
was
this-
better, but still had a.
Yeah, you can't get,
Everyone's going to have a combustion engine in it in some way or another.
The first one, it was the airplanes.
Yep.
It was quiet, and as soon as we turned the camera on, there's a Navy training center nearby that I didn't realize was there, and they were flying these planes around in circles.
We did get the majority of this in before that started, at least. So
Yeah.
I will not complain today.
No, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. All good things. We're
All good
happy,
things. Yep.
and we're happy to be doing this. We're happy to be able to film a podcast out in the great outdoors, and
Yes.
and have a couple days camping.
Yes. Yes.
So,
I need you to cook for me tonight.
yeah, it's time to start getting something ready.
It is.
Got to get the barbecue ready for the pit barrel.
Indeed.
All right, guys, we hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you on the next one. All right.